So moving to the next question. According to some sources, the Earth is located in a dark part of the galaxy where the dark polarity is in charge. And they're also saying that we're surrounded by negativities, reptiles, etc. Is that true? How can we actually distinguish all the messages and the channelings that we're flooded with now?
It's really, when you hear information, you really have to look at it through your own sense of discernment. Something will either resonate with you or it won't. But before you can see if it really does, you have to process any fear that might come up when you hear something, right? Any fear or any emotion of like joy or whenever there's a very strong emotional reaction, you really have to look at that emotional reaction and process it, because sometimes when we hear something, if it gives us kind of ego satisfaction, it could be something that we are
wanting to believe rather than something that is real. So when we hear information, we really have to process any type of fear or sense of satisfaction or whatever that comes up, like, oh yeah, we won, yeah, you know, kind of thing. And really look behind at the vibration of the message. And when something is an untruth, it will always vibrate wrong, vibrate not quite right. And the best lies are always embedded in great truths, right? So, for example, 90% could be truth, and that 10% could be the lie that's being injected in there, right? So, when people say, well, we're in a dark sector of the galaxy, there is a, but it's not actually one location in the galaxy. There is a time space or a period of existence which I would say most planets will go through, but I'm not really sure about that because I haven't checked it out, which contains duality, which contains also darkness. And at a certain point on the planet's existence, the planet as an entity and the solar system as an entity and the sector as an entity decided that it might be a good idea to have an experience of duality, right? And so the darkness was allowed in. And by default, by nature, darkness will try to conquer and overcome and destroy and eliminate light, right? And so there was that level of choice and experience. And now we've come to, okay, we've done that, been there, bought the t-shirt, now it's time to move on to another type of experience. And of course, there will be an enormous amount of resistance by the dark beings and those who want to continue having both a dark experience and both who want to continue having an existence of service to others, to not move beyond that paradigm. But it has already happened. The shift happened in August 2011 at an energetic level, right? The split happened already. And now it's a matter of how many people go where, you know? It's like the existences are splitting apart, and eventually we won't be able to cross over. And people are saying that's probably when the date came in, you know, the 2012 date came in, when it kind of gels into which one it is for each person. And it really is about the higher we can get the planet vibrationally wise before that gelling takes place, the more individuals will have the opportunity to take an educated choice of where they want to be and go there. And I've heard from people who said, you know, I've seen it, I can see the choices, I can clearly identify with the fact that I can move into that paradigm where I am a completely empowered individual and I can create whatever I want. But I've lived thousands of years in this planet of duality, and if it hadn't been for those who stayed behind to serve others and to teach and to continue carrying the torch of light in this duality, I would not have been able to make that choice now. I wouldn't have that choice now. So I've decided to stay behind. I've decided to stay behind so I can help
years those individuals who are still asleep and continuing that power over others existence of duality for when they're ready, whether in this lifetime or in 1,000 lifetimes down the road, when they're ready to move on, that I'll be there to show them the way. You know, and that's amazing. You know, that's an enormous amount of compassion, and it's also a choice to serve others through an educated and informed choice. It's not unconscious of, oh, I have to serve others, or that's my dharma, or that's the way that God wants me to do it. It's not that unconscious. It's actually
the choices, and then decides at a conscious level, I will continue a service of others to pay back those who have done the service over, the service for others, so that I could make it.
Well, great. I understand completely everything. Okay, I had some questions about the hierarchy of the evil, and maybe that's the reason why the technique wasn't working at all. So maybe I should miss it. I don't want really to know about the hierarchy of evil. Okay, another question which is very interesting for me. In your interview with Bill Ryan, the very first one, I guess, you say that you've been given his name and so you had to get in contact with him. So do you still get such assignments? I believe there are a huge amount of people willing to contact you right now, and how do you choose who to get in touch with from all these people?
I don't actually make the choice.
There's some individuals that get very annoyed when they say, I want you to help me, and I'm making the first contact, and then I don't respond, right? And that's their spiritual ego coming up and saying, look, I've already done that, why are you not helping me? And that's the whole point. The people who I'm being sent to are those who are ready to collaborate, to raise the vibrational level of the planet at this point. It's not about contacting individuals who want to be saved or helped, or whose vibrational level they want help with, right? All those things are on the website in Ascension101.com. You have tools, you have there's like a ton of articles for free, all there available, that the person can go and help themselves, right? All that for self-help. If somebody
Inelia Benz can help them, save them, or raise their vibrational level, they're not getting the point. They're really not understanding what we're here to do.
Sure.
They're still looking for a savior, and by looking for a savior, they're making a choice of what reality they're moving into. So, and there's no judgment on that. That's a perfectly good evolutionary path that they want to continue on. But unfortunately, it's not something that I cater to.
Yeah.
I cater for those individuals who can go in there, get the information, get the tools, help themselves, and then help others help themselves, teach them how to help themselves. And those, I am working with many individuals,
many light workers right now on a personal level, and very intensely. Most of my time is taken up by working with others, and those are individuals who are sent to me by source, not by them knocking on my door normally, or sometimes they can be that way, but they are sent by source. And the way, how do I make the distinction? When I look at them, source is yes, and then if I look at somebody else, I say no. It's very, very clear. My time and space is extremely limited. I don't have long. None of us have very long to do this work. So we have to make it as efficient as we possibly can. And that's why I set up the information site, so people can go there if they need help and help themselves and become their own savior. If they're looking for that angel, they're looking for that Jesus, they're looking for that savior to come in and validate them or help them, look in the mirror. Look in the mirror, because you are it.
You're the savior.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful to hear that from you, because I've been trying to tell that to many people, that there is nothing between you and the other people. You don't have to look for a savior. You don't have to look for the next guru to save you. Just look inside yourself.
Exactly.
You have the power. You're making the choices.
That's right.
That's right. Of course, it's good to go and inform yourself, right? Test different tools and see what others have learned. We don't have to reinvent the wheel, each individual. So we go out and we look for information, and if any information empowers you and makes you independent, that's the one to go for. If you receive any information,
or come here and I'll save you, then run the different direction, because that's not what you want.
Exactly. Yes. Thank you so much. Okay, I have certain questions with, more specific with regard to my country, Bulgaria. And for those people who don't know anything about it, I'll make a quick announcement. So I don't know whether you know anything about Bulgaria, and she's really amazing country. And not because it's my country, it's really amazing. It's located in the middle of Europe, in the crossroads of Europe. And it's not only the geographical location that makes it so unique. It's really a small piece of land, but it's a collective point of cosmic energies. It's the birthplace of many enlightened people, prophets like Vanga, pathfinders, talented people, revolutionary inventors, healers, and etc. And actually, we've been told from many prophecies that we as a nation, we have a very strong and important mission. Peter Dunov is one of them, or his other name, cosmic name, Benz Duno. He is the master of the White Brotherhood, and he used to say that Bulgaria is the liver of the planet. Can you tell really what do you think? What do you know about the mission of Bulgarian people? What is our role in the process of transformation and ascension?
When I look at Bulgaria, there has been a history of oppression as well. And that's no coincidence, because it is a point of light. There's a point of like a vortex of high vibrational light, which facilitates the birth and the living of people who would have had a higher vibration than the rest of the planet, and they would have been able to incarnate there because of it. It would have been more compatible. There's also, I don't know whether it's under terrain or above terrain, there's pyramids there, but I'm not sure if they're seen or they can be seen, or if there's anything about them, because I'm just seeing it now. I don't know if they're underground or they're in a different paradigm, or whether they're physically in the country.
I don't know if you can
tell me anything about that. But
well, not at least they're not discovered yet. So
okay. All right. Yeah. And the concept of the pyramid is the concept of the Stargate, right? The location or the technology which can be used to move through dimensions and time-space, and like an entryway, like a doorway. And also it's a configuration of a tuning, like it tunes the rest of the planet. So these configurations that are either physically or energetically in different locations the whole planet is like an instrument, and then each location will have its own note, and when it's tuned in perfectly, then the entire thing will play really beautiful music. Right?
Yes.
And that's the same energy that I see there. It's very much in that kind of nature. As with regards to each individual in the country who's listening to this or reading the translation, if you put translation under it, your role is to basically do everything you can to raise your personal vibration.
Become an amplification for the planet. Because I think that has one of the things that that location can do is amplify. It's make it, I don't know, it's not even amplification, it's making it brighter or something, you know?
Yes. Yes.
It's very beautiful. But yeah, you can see that it's with everything, and if there is a history of oppression there, whenever you find a location like that on a planet which is charged and like this, there will be a very powerful attempt to subjugate it, to stop it, to put an end to it, or to tap into it at a very vibrational level and then use the energy like a vampiric type technology. And I'm thinking that there probably is that happening there, but we have to move away from the victim mentality immediately, because even though there might be beings trying to do that or have been doing that for hundreds or even thousands of years on the country, it's about taking sovereignty over one's personal lives, taking sovereignty and becoming a caretaker of your particular patch on the land, and saying, no, that's not allowed here, I'm sorry, you have to leave now.
So that's the end. Right. We're moving into a new paradigm, it's not allowed anymore.
Right.
Good. Okay, I have a couple more questions about Bulgaria. And can you tell, is it true that Bulgaria from one side, along with Peru and Chile from another, and Tibet from third, is one of these three very important energetic centers for, let's say, controlling and ruling the process of transformation and extension of the planet? Is our role about the balance and fluency?
Well, that goes back to what we were talking before. These PowerPoints, and most certainly those are three of them, but they're not the only ones, are being, there's a lot of technology and a lot of energy,
individuals being used to
stop places, or to transform them, to put in a dissonance.
Yes.
So they don't vibrate at the right vibration, to put dissonance into them. And it is the responsibility of those who live in the location to take back that power, to take back that responsibility and say, no, you're not allowed to do that here, right? Because it's all about real estate. There's a certain species, there's a certain level of belief, or the elite or whatever, who believe everything is about real estate, right?
Yes.
They want it for themselves. So, and they believe they have a right to move in. If there's nobody with a flag there saying this is taken, they think they can go and put a flag there and say, okay, it's mine then, right? And it could be very unconscious of the people who are there in a very particular location, not to put a flag there and say, I'm the caretaker here, you're not allowed to come in. But the planet does birth and have caretakers all over the place. And many individuals know that they have that role, and they take it 100%. And others just sense it. They buy land and they think, well, I don't really own it, I'm just here to look after it.
Yes.
And that's a caretaker.
We borrow that land. All right, and with regard to that personal responsibility, what is already allowed to you or to any other being from that level as you to reveal in front of the Bulgarian people, so that they can accelerate their awareness about the planetary and galactic responsibility?
The responsibility basically is the ability to respond, right? We all respond, really. We all respond to things that happen to us, but how do we respond? Do we respond in an empowered way, or do we respond in a programmed way? For example, when you have the aggressor-victim paradigm or cycle, which is part of the enslavement chain of the planet, people are sucked into the victim-aggressor cycles to keep them here chained up. When a person is so unconscious that they're in a victim-aggressor cycle, the way they respond is it's really through the program. I am a victim, or I am an aggressor, so I will hurt others. I am a victim, so I'm going to be hurt. Or I cannot do anything, I'm helpless because I am a victim.
Yeah.
Those are responses, but they're responses taken out of the circuitry of that cycle. Once the person becomes aware that they're in a cycle, they can respond differently, and that's when they become response able. They're able themselves to choose what response they have. So that's the difference.
Yes.
So, for example, somebody is an aggressor and their entire existence has been about being an aggressor, and they become conscious of the fact that they're in this cycle. All of a sudden they can say, hold on a minute, I'm not going to hurt that person, right? I'm going to stop the cycle. And then the victim also will be in the middle of being a victim and helpless and everything, and he or she will wake up and then say, oh, I don't have to be a victim, I'll just walk out the door, you know. And that will be it. It will be the way that we are able to respond is when we're able, we have the capacity to respond the way we want,
rather than respond according to the program we're stuck in. So that's when we say responsibility is the ability to respond in a conscious way.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, for the people
of every country,
basically, are you willing? Are you really willing to process your fear? To go in and do the work every day. To meditate 20 minutes a day, to be in silence for 20 minutes a day. Are you really willing to do it? Or are you going to go, oh, but I can't, I've tried and I can't. That's the way to respond out of the program. Right? If you're responsible, you'll be saying, yes, I commit to meditating for at least 20 minutes a day, being in silence.
Right.
And yes.
You don't try, you do.
Yes.
And you process your fears, because fear is the lowest denominational vibration. When you process it, and it's not about looking at fear to get rid of it, it's really, really allowing it to be there and allowing it to express and embracing it completely and utterly back into yourself, back into oneness. Because fear is a low vibrational construct energy which is enslaved. So do you want to keep it as a slave in your field, or do you want to release it? Do you want to free it
and transform it into light?
So
it's all about each person doing it. It's not about let's put a government there that will do it for us.
I see. Yes. Okay. Going back to the light workers, you've got that, may I call it, calling in 2010 to go live, to get on the scene. And is it time for the light workers in Bulgaria and maybe in all other countries to get out of the background and be more courageous in their public manifestation?
Well, if you're called to become public, you will know it. You will know it. Not everybody's called to become public.
Yes.
Right? Many people work in the background, just being themselves and bringing that light into the planet in a very quiet and anonymous way in their daily life, while working as a cook, or working cleaning the streets, or being a doctor, or a librarian, or being a mother, or being a father, full-time father. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, if a person's called to become public, they will know it.
Yes.
They will know it, and they will do it. I mean, they don't have to. They can. It's always a choice. But they will be able to do it. But not everybody needs to take that public stand.
I know perfectly what you mean. Yes. Okay. And still more questions about Bulgaria. Hope you don't mind. Do you have information who is actually that person, that soul, Peter Danov? or Benz, I don't know his cosmic name. And why did he choose Bulgaria as a birthplace? Did he need to have any Bulgarian genes for completing his mission?
I'm often asked about other teachers, and my response is always the same. With regards to other teachers, I cannot give you any kind of view or information. You really have to go out, have a look at that teacher, see, does this teacher make me feel empowered or empowers me, or does this teacher make me dependent on him or her? And then really go and do it in that sense. Now, if he says that he needed to be born there because he needed that genetic material, then that's probably right. Right?
No, well,
I don't.
He's not alive anymore. Actually.
Oh, okay. But if that's what he said, then it's very possible. The lineage we take, genetically wise, can be. It's not random generally, right? None of us on the planet has randomly taken a body out of millions of choices. It's very specific. So if that's what he taught and said, I would say it's probably true. But not having read his works or not being familiar with him, I couldn't really say for me personally. And to look at him now, it's really basically to say the person really has to choose for themselves whether his teachings is something that empowers them, or his teachings is something that makes him or her dependent on this person. And just because he's alive or dead doesn't make it less dependent. Are you praying to this person to come and help you and save you? Or are you learning his teachings, and those learnings make you independent and more able? That's the difference. It doesn't matter whether a person is alive or dead to see that choice.
Sure, and understand clearly. Thank you very much. I'm actually asking so specific questions. I know that you probably haven't made research about them, but I'm just hoping that you can get information right now while we're talking. And it was very interesting that in the beginning of our conversation about Bulgaria, you mentioned about those pyramids and energetic places. There are a lot of may call them mystical places in Bulgaria, and most of them up in the mountains. And we have, concentration towns, sanctuaries all over the country. And there is very specific place, and I will dare to ask about it as well. It's called Tsarichina. And there, during the years, a lot of scientists, the government, and even treasure hunters had tried to dig out this place's secrets, but it remained hidden. If there is any information coming through now, is the secret of that place, Tsarichina, going to reveal this year?
Is that place in the mountains, or is it somewhere else?
Yes.
Because that could be actually the pyramids that I saw, the structure of pyramid kind of paradigm thing.
That's why I'm asking.
It's very possible. It looked like a mountain. It's that shape.
It's actually under a hill, and
there you go.
Yes,
it's underground.
Yes, underground, and really somehow we know, we feel, we've been told that there's something very big there, very important.
Yeah.
From a planetary aspect, it's very important, and we're really hoping that we can finally get to that vibrational level so that this secret will be revealed to us.
That's fascinating, because I felt that sense of a pyramid underground.
Okay.
And it's probably the very similar technology that's there under that hill.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I was shown. Yeah,
technology.
That's probably what I was shown. Whether it will come online, I mean, I think it is online. When I looked at it, it was very much online. And yes, there are people, individuals who are trying to energetically put dissonance into it, just like they do in Egypt, right? With the large pyramids there, they try to change the vibration
I'm smiling just because my next question was, is there any connection? I think there is between Bulgaria and the ancient world, and Egypt and more specific. But I think there is. I'm sure there are some places on Earth energetically connected during all the timelines and historical periods. Okay, but hopefully we'll get these secrets revealed soon. As soon as we need to reveal them, actually.
Right.
Okay, so thank you about all this information about Bulgaria, and now I'll ask more about the Ascension itself, because it's really the most important thing we're doing right now. What happens with the structure of our bodies after the Ascension? Shall we have different bodies in the new Earth? I mean, if the Earth itself won't be as solid as it is in the 3D, what will happen to our bodies?
Yes, our bodies, that's a very interesting question, because in order to help our body make the transition, we really have to work with it. We have to be very vigilant about what toxins we put into our bodies. We have to detoxify our bodies on a regular basis, do exercise, walk, touch nature, and really connect with our bodies. Because our bodies, even though they're our own creation, they are different entities. They're the physical manifestation of divine consciousness. We are the spiritual manifestation of divine consciousness, but our body is the physical manifestation of divine consciousness at a very high evolutionary level. And the bodies are really afraid to make this move, because bodies by default are meant to keep shape, right? Yeah. They're meant to keep the shape and integrity of the physicality. And as we move into this new paradigm, it's important to put very high vibrational things into our bodies at a physical level, eat high vibrational foods and drinks, minimize toxins as much as we can, drink plenty of pure water, not chemical water, and watch the mineral waters, because now with all the chemtrails, the mineral waters are being corrupted, so watch that. So really investigate, research, and take care of your body and reconnect with your body. There's also, for example, in the United States, there's a huge problem with overweight people. Yeah. And there's a battle going on. There's culturally, the individuals have been taught, and the bodies have been made addicted to sugar and to wheat and to meats and all sorts of things that are very, very negative for the physical body. Now, why are we making so much effort to join back and incarnate fully into the body? Because our bodies and our subtle bodies are our most powerful tools in this ascension process, right? Without our physical and subtle bodies, we wouldn't be able to do anything here on the planet. Therefore, we reconnect back into it. We stop fighting with our bodies. We don't make them our enemies anymore. We rejoin and we fully incarnate into our body, so that our body can start making that transition in an easier, less painful way.
Exactly. I'm so thankful to hear all that, because a lot of my work is concentrated exactly on taking care of the body, on educating people how to eat and what to eat and how to drink, because it's very, very important to take care of these bodies right now. And with that regard, I would like to ask, so does this mean that eating heavy foods like meats, like having alcohol and cigarettes and etc., will it actually it will not help us at all to go through that transformation, isn't it?
It will make it very uncomfortable. And some people's bodies won't make it, right? Some people's bodies will not be able to make the transition because there's so much heaviness in them. And it's never too late to start. With regards to meats, the problem with meats is that the way in which they're created right now, the steaks that you buy at the supermarket and stuff, the animal has been pumped with chemicals and also has had a very, very scary life, a very miserable life. And that energy of miserable and scare and fear it's infused in their flesh. So when you put that flesh into your body, that will affect your body in the same way, right? It's a physical vibration you're putting into it. There are individuals on the planet whose vibration is so high that when they eat meat, they transform it into very high vibrational matter. And then because that flesh is connected to a certain body consciousness, that body consciousness then becomes also very light. But the majority of us, and me included, are unable to do that. We're not here to do that. We're here to make the transition and make our physical body lighter. So I would say, if you really, really love meat and you don't want to stop eating it, then go and buy meat from an organic farm, humane, bringing up of the animals in a happy environment, and they kill them very quickly so the animal doesn't suffer. And then buy your steaks from them, right? Or your eggs or whatever.
But a better idea is to become vegetarian, isn't it?
Well, the easiest, it's not better, because you can't force a body to become vegetarian overnight.
Sure,
it has to be a gradual process.
Yes, yes.
However, as you process your fear, as you detoxify your body, and you listen to your body, so when you go to the supermarket, you pick up the meat and you ask your body, can I put this toxin into my body? And you really listen to your body. Your body will say, oh yeah, let's go, baby. Or your body will say, ew, I don't think so. And then you have to put it back. But be vigilant and really do put it back. And that might take a while. It might take a couple of months, or longer to get through that toxicity and that addiction to the very, very low vibrational products that we can eat. It's like, I'm a vegetarian, but not by choice, right? Not by choice, because even as a young child, I needed me to lower my vibration enough to be able to function on the planet, right? So I needed that, and obviously eat vegetables, and I don't see the difference between a head of lettuce and a steak, for example. They're both living entities, they're both living beings, and yes, one of them is more conscious, so there's all this morality attached to it. But it's not about morality, it's about vibration. Right? Something is either very thick and toxic, or something isn't, or it's less thick and less toxic, right? It's as simple as that. And so as we progress in these past 2 years, I found myself being unable to even eat the happy meat. It's like, even though it's a happy chicken or a happy cow or whatever that I was putting on my plate, I wasn't able to eat it. My body was saying, no, we can't do that, we can't eat it, it's too thick, it's too dense, So I listened, and at the moment the only meat that I can eat is organic turkey. I have no idea why. But it's really the only meat that I can consume without getting sick. And it is like that. I get extremely ill if I try to eat meat otherwise.
I understand.
And that's borderline now. It's like, because I wasn't a natural vegetarian, I took a long time to detoxify and a long time to progress to a certain level where my body really could not, my physical body, because I was so completely disconnected to my physical body at one point. But in order to incarnate fully into the body, you have to make the body lighter. And that's what was happening. And now it's borderline. I can eat it a little bit, but I can't really eat much of it. So now I'm down to a little bit of fish with regards to animal products. A little bit of fish, a little bit of turkey, organic turkey, and that's about it. Eggs, I can have eggs like the organic free-range happy eggs. I can have those. And the rest I have to make up. And actually, if you follow a really good, healthy, vegetarian diet, the amount of protein you eat is a lot more than somebody who's eating meat.
Exactly.
And much better protein. For example, my body loves the whey protein, right? The organic whey protein. Loves it. The soy protein, not sure about it.
Yeah, me
She doesn't
too.
like it very much. But she'll take it every now and then. Especially if it's made into products, like candy bars or something made out of soy products and honey, because I can't have sugar. Sugar is highly toxic as well. And the modern highly processed wheat is also highly toxic. So try and stay away from that. You probably know more than I do about all these things, but the ancient grains are much better to eat than the modern wheat. And there's all sorts of things that a person can research. I'm sure you have lots of information in your website about it. So.
Yes, I do have, but it's a different story when Inelia Benz is saying that. And I keep smiling because every single word that you're saying, it resonates so well with me, and I know it very well how it feels, and absolutely everything. But it's real different, and it will have an impact on people when you're saying that. All right, thanks a lot about that. Okay, so talking about if I can move forward, because I know that your time is precious, and so talking about the level of vibrations. Okay, all right. So you're saying that from your experience, the most efficient way to raise our own vibrations is to process our fears, right? So what else can we do to achieve that, in addition to be good in our thoughts and actions, to make small good things on a daily basis, to process the repeating patterns? What?
Not really. The concept of good is as a duality construct. So if you go there, you're really getting stuck on duality. It's all about vibration, right? So there's really no judgment on fear. It's just a very low vibrational level of construct. So we process fear. Also things, for example, if you react very emotionally to something, frustration, judgment, all those things, we process them. Why? Because they're mostly attached to the ego. And the ego is over-stimulated on the society. Therefore, we really go in and we process those things to raise our personal vibration. We do the 20-minute meditation every day. We commit to that. And we detoxify and look after our physical bodies. Now, what happens, what I've seen so far, people who have taken this on, really taken it on into their lives, they've started to see that around them, all of a sudden, people who they never imagined would be interested in spiritual matters, we've suddenly been asking them questions and wanting to know, and are waking up, you know?
Yes.
It's like, oh my God.
That's amazing, and it happens with me. These questions come from people that I would never ever thought would come. Like,
exactly.
Totally so far away from all spirituality at all.
Yeah, and why is that happening? Because as one raises one's vibrational level, our environment, we raise our environmental vibrational level also, and our environment contains people. So by doing it for yourself, you're actually helping those individuals to have that window of higher vibrational environment where they can wake up a little bit, right?
Right.
It's like, imagine if the vibration was a clock, like an alarm clock, and it was going ling, 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 and as you clear out yourself of all the pillows around the clock, like the fear and the toxins and everything else, and the noise, the mental noise, you clear the pillows away from the clock and it goes ding, 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 louder, right? So
yes.
That allows others to hear it too.
So, you kind of answered my next question, because although you're saying that if we in a way judge other people as lower vibrational beings, it's actually a function of ego, and many people ask, okay, but I still can feel that my husband or my daughter or I don't know, my neighbors is a person with a lower vibration. How can I help them to raise the vibration? So I think you answered that question already.
Yes, you raise your own.
As you were saying, we are being bombarded with negativity from a handful of people, so the so-called elite. And they're putting a lot of efforts to keep the people asleep and suppressed, obedient, unaware of their unlimited potential. And we know that. I realize that the laws of the universe have been violated, and that could be one of the reasons for you coming here on the planet, for which we're very thankful. But what can people in their day-to-day life can do to protect themselves and overcome with their own efforts all these attempts for manipulation? How can we keep Gaia, how can we help actually Gaia to keep the balance? By meditating or getting together?
The tools are exactly the same. You process your fear around the topics that you're thinking about.
Yes. Process
them first. And once you're in that centered space, you then decide, okay, I'm going to take a physical stand on this matter. I'm going to do something physically, whether it's write a letter or go and protest or whatever, right? Or not. Or you can continue to do the work spiritually by embracing these poor souls who are dying and in a terrible, terrible fear, terrible, terrible suffering. And that's why they're lashing out at everybody and killing people and making wars, because they're infused with fear and suffering. And these are the elite, right? This is what they know. This is all their existence. They're terrified. They're dying off. Everything that they have ever worked for is being taken away from them. And they're lashing around like a dying animal, right? And they're hurting, and they're hurting others. So infuse them with light and love. Yes. Step out of the way and allow Source. Don't send your energy. Step out of the way and allow Source to come through you. Become a conduit for Source to focus on them. Send them light and love. Once a person reaches a certain level of vibration of light, they will stop doing those things by default.
Understand. So we don't have to fight with them. Oh, terrible people! You're trying
every time
to make
you think that, every time you send that vibration to them, you empower them.
Yes, I understand.
You empower their negativity.
And I'm trying to explain that to people. I've seen a lot of groups in Facebook, for example, combined. I know for a very, very strange idea. So these people have made a group where they constantly share links about all these bad things going around, about the war that maybe could happen, about the chemtrails, about all the manipulations, about Illuminati and reptiles. And I'm saying, come on people, stop doing that. By doing that, you're just empowering what you don't want in your lives. Isn't it true?
Well, it depends on the reason behind it. If the person puts it out because they're angry and upset and very, very upset about what's happening, and they're fearful of what's going to happen, and we're fearful of what's going to happen to their planet, then yes, they're empowering the other side. They're definitely doing that. If a person puts it out and says, and here's the solution, this is what you can do to stop this, it's a completely different paradigm.
Oh yes it is. But unfortunately, they're doing the first thing.
Yeah, they're saying they're stuck in the game.
Yeah,
they're stuck in that game.
Well, hopefully they will find a way out.
Well, what we can do is send them light and love, and
That's what I constantly do.
Send them the fear processing exercise.
Yes, I know it. I know it. Okay, and just a couple more questions. Many people ask how they can end their karma, and you've said that the karma can be terminated right away only by the power of the free conscious choice. And yet this process is linked to the overcoming of the certain beliefs and convictions which people take as something solid, but it's an illusion. So how can they distinguish the lessons they need to process in order to get rid of the karma?
Karma is, going back to responsibility, karma is exactly the same thing. Somebody who has karma will be stuck in several different cycles, and it's like a record that's stuck, right? In the little grooves and plays the same thing over and over again. As soon as the person becomes conscious that that's a cycle they're stuck on, they can then make a different decision that's not part of that record. They can take the needle out and say, okay, I'm going to respond differently.
Yes.
And as soon as they do that, they're out of that karmic circle.
Right, so it's all about reacting in a different way to those repeating patterns.
Exactly, that's all it is. That's all it is.
Great, great. Do you hear, people? Okay, going back to that period of time during the week 22nd, 28th of August 2011, I felt very strange during that week. So when you're saying that the souls have been divided between light and dark and awaken and asleep, and you're saying that actually it's not only you, and other sources are saying that there will be another split coming at the end of this year, and I'm talking about these 3 days of darkness. And during the okay, you're saying, and during that period the population will be strictly split between those who are still based on fear and those who are heart-centered. Is that already decided? Is that inevitable, or there is still an open door for us to to play in a different way our cards?
It's not decided. No, there hasn't been a collective agreement whether this will happen or not. However, the decision has to be taken somehow. And I think that there are certain sectors of beings who want it to happen at that very dramatic level, because they will get a better amount of people join them through fear. Right? But it hasn't been decided. It's a collective decision, of a planetary decision, whether it will go through that or not. If it does, and you see yourself in that, is to stay heart-centered. What does that mean? Put your attention and your awareness in your heart center, the heart center, so the solar and going back into the shoulder blades. Put your attention there. Just put your attention there and look there and be there. Right? When a person first does that, they become extremely emotional because there's a lot of stuff that comes up. And stick with it, and simply stay there. And what's happening is that there will be an attempt during that period of amplifying the fear energy. It's like a musical instrument. You play one note higher than the other, so that people's bodies and beings will fall into fear. Once they fall into fear, the vibration is so thick that they can't make the jump onto the more empowered paradigm, right? The more empowered level planet kind of thing. But it's the way that I see it, and the reason why so many millions of people have incarnated to raise the vibrational level of the planet, is to make it very easy and gentle a transition as we possibly can. So the chances are that it will actually take about 3 generations for the planet to really split. Why? Because people will need to live out their lives in here with us. And then when they die their natural lives, they will then incarnate into another planet that continues their journey at whatever vibration they choose, right? That brings up a lot of frustration from a lot of light workers who've been sticking around because the shift has been hijacked for decades and slowed down, and everything put in its path so that it doesn't happen. Of course you can't stop it, right? It's going to happen. What can happen, what the resulting is that more people or less people who might have been able to make the jump, have the vibration really taken off and had society really supported it into a more empowered paradigm, will not be able to make the jump because they're still asleep, right? And on this shift. But that doesn't close the doors, because at any time anyone can make the jump at any time.
Okay.
It's just that this is a collective one, right?
Yes. Well, that kind of answers my next question. Thank you for answering in advance so many questions before I've asked. So we won't be separated from our loved ones in that life. It will not happen just with overnight. Part of the people will remain here and the other part will be moved to another planet. So it will happen during 3 generations. Okay, so you've gave us some advices on how to really take care of our bodies, and I'm really trying to choose among the questions because there are really a lot of them, and all of them really important. Okay, so there was a very interesting story that I heard about you reconstructing your heart. Most of us haven't reached that level of awareness yet that will allow us to do that with our bodies. So is it okay instead of that, and while we reach that kind of awareness, to use any natural food supplements, minerals, and etc.? For example, there are some revolutionary supplements developed by Bulgarian scientists which really reconstruct the body cells. They fight with cancer cells and heal body states considered to be incurable by the conventional medicine. Is it okay to use such supplements?
Oh, absolutely, yes. I mean, if I get a cold, I'll take homeopathic medicine. It's like that was a very extreme. What happened then was very extreme. It was either fixing the heart or losing my baby, right? So I didn't have a choice. There was no choice, and there was a complete and absolute knowing of, okay, this is gonna have to be fixed, and it was fixed. However, I know, even from personal experience, that that's actually quite hard to do. And the natural medicines and although I do also know people who never get sick, right? I know individuals who never get sick because they have so much knowing about their physical body that immediately, as soon as something starts happening, they fix it, right? So that's possible also. We mustn't rule that out. It's just that connection, I think, is a connection with the body and knowing the body and working with the body. And with regards to medicines, yes, there are various holistic medicines and technologies, and also there are many healers who are here to help us with our bodies, right? And it's perfectly good and positive to approach these individuals for that purpose, for working with our bodies, for healing our bodies, because we can't do everything, right?
Yeah, we can't really.
It's like we can't it's like, you can't be doing the whole lot at the same time, immediately. As we move, our vibration becomes higher, and as we move into the new paradigm, we will actually be able to control our bodies to such an extent that we'll be able to dissolve it in one location and recreate it again in another, right? That's teleportation.
Oh.
I mean, people have been doing this for forever. I mean, there's monks and there's different religious orders and stuff who have had this technology and knowledge for thousands of years and do it and use it, right? But it's about all of us being able to do it. That's the thing.
Exactly.
And it's all related. So until that time when we fully are in the new paradigm, and individually each person has fully processed and made their body and their being a higher vibrational entity, until that time arrives, we use healing modalities, we use holistic, we eat, because obviously there's no need to eat either, but we're still stuck in that program, so we eat.
Yes.
And I mean, there are no limits, but at the moment we do what's necessary to have a healthy and comfortable existence within the body.
Great. Okay, and we all that we've been through, all that we discussed, it's most of the time it's with regard to the mature people, and but many of the people in my audience, they're really concerned. What about the role of the children, the infants, the babies in that transformation? So because they're not grown enough to realize what's really going on, how are these children going to make a conscious choice during that transformation? On which side are they going to be afterwards?
Right. The first thing is that you have to release your fear with regards to, is my children going to come with me or not? Right. There's an importance and a fear there, and that has to be processed, completely processed. Now, I have a 5-year-old, and I have 3 adult children as well. And it's really, from being a mother and from seeing them and having birthed them, I know for a fact that each person on the planet is a fully conscious, divine being with a higher self, right? So even when we take unconscious choices, there's a level of awareness that has taken a choice already.
I see.
Right.
Okay.
So although it might appear to be contradictory to what we were talking about, making the vibration around us so high that others have the ability then to make a conscious choice, it's the reason why we incarnated and the reason why we're processing our low vibrational energies in order to raise the vibrational energy of the collective and the planet is precisely because those individuals wanted to make that choice at a conscious level, right?
Yeah.
So it's all like they already made the choice. You know?
I see. So it's not a matter of growing up as in a physical body. It's the choice has been made already.
Not really. In fact, the longer a person lives, the harder it is to make that choice. Because when a person first enters the planet, they're fully conscious. Like at least every baby that I have ever met on this past the past few decades, is wide awake. The baby. The newborn baby is wide awake, is source, is the divine being incarnate. And then, as the days and weeks and months and years go by, they become more and more into a singularity.
Yes.
And more solid, right? So it's actually the reverse. The kids are fine.
It's better to think about ourselves, not about the kids.
The kids
They're
are
going
perfectly fine. Yeah.
Really, okay, and just to make my baby will be okay.
Yeah, but even that my baby will be okay is attached, you see. There's an attachment there.
It is an attachment.
So there's fear. You have to process your fear around your children. You have to process your fear of thinking that you know better than your child's higher self, right? Because some of the kids might choose to go the other way, right? They might. We don't know that.
Does it mean that you're not attached to your family and kids? Because you're saying that your mission is going to end in 2017, and so what happens afterwards? Inelia will disappear?
I don't know. It could be that I've given a new mission, but the public mission that I have right now will end in 2017. And after that, there might be a new mission, or there might be a dissolving back into nothingness, And no, there is no attachment. There's no attachment. Of course, I love them dearly. I'm a human being. I have a need to be with them, just like every other mother. I have that sense of responsibility over them. I want to give them the best tools and all the love that I can possibly give them while they're alive and while I'm alive. But no, there is no attachment to what they do with their lives. I have no agenda of where I want them to go, what paradigm they want to experience life in. I know for a fact that their higher self has already made those decisions, and I completely respect that.
Wow, great. Thank you. And okay, maybe as the end of it, last question. How are we doing so far in our collective mission? For sure, it's not a coincidence that we've just entered the year of the dragon, which symbolizes the element fire. And at the same time, there was a huge, even maybe the most powerful solar eruption, that solar activity ever known. Is there? Not is there, but there is. And you're also saying that a very strong presence and activity of ETs around the Earth and the Sun right now. And also there are strange sounds floating in the air. What is going on? What actually happens during those solar eruptions?
Well, I don't know about the solar activity. But with regards to the ETs, there are hundreds of different species interested in what's happening on the planet right now. There are some who are self-serving, some who are serve over the others, there are some who are completely unattached, and some who are light, some who are dark. There's every color, it's like vibrational level alpha in different dimensions as well as our 3D dimension. And what we need to acknowledge and realize is that they're our cousins. They are related to us as humanoids, and that we can collaborate at whatever level we want with them. If we want to collaborate with them at a level of service for others, continue in our duality and have battles with the dark and everything else, we can do that. If we want to collaborate with them at a very empowered collaborative level, then we can do that also and work with them as equals. If we want to see them as deities and superior to us, then we can do that also. We have every choice if we want to interact with them. If we don't want to interact with them, we also have that choice, right? And as soon as, for example, if you move your awareness just outside of the planet, and a little bit beyond, so the planet looks about yay big, you will find that there will be other awarenesses trying to communicate with you in different levels. Some of them will say, bow unto me, I'm your God, and some others will say, hey babe, you're back, with your soul family, and others will say, oh, what are you doing here? And others will say, give me all your money because I'm your lord, whatever. And it's okay not to engage with them. You can just let those interactions, communications flow through you. Right? You don't have to engage with any of them. And by not choosing to engage with any of them, you state your sovereignty, your independence. You're not forced to talk to somebody just because they talk to you.
Yes.
You're not forced to engage with somebody just because they engage with you. You can simply be at any point, and this goes for daily life as well.
Right.
You can simply stand in your truth without spilling it out to everybody so that you force them to see that. You don't have to. You just stand in your truth, and you are your truth. And those who will be at that vibrational level will see you for who you are, or not, or you will be completely invisible to them, and that's okay too.
I see. And that's about ETs. Thanks a lot. And just to repeat, because I'm asking very long questions. So how are we doing so far in that collective mission in raising the vibrational planet? Are we doing fine?
Oh yes. I mean, if you think about it, words like karma, manifestation, namaste, all those words are being used in daily life now.
Yes.
Right? Like a few decades ago, they were only used by those people who were in a spiritual path.
Yeah.
Right? But now you hear them everywhere. You hear them on television, you hear them in the street, you hear them in the supermarket, you hear them everywhere. So the awakening is huge. And also, if you do a search on the internet, there's millions, literally millions of light workers out there putting their information and their tools and services for others to come and use, right? There has never been on the recorded history of the humanity so many light workers present and working and awake than there is now. Never.
Okay.
So if you think about it, yes, that's the news they don't want you to see. But at the same time, what they want you to see is all the wars and financial crises and fear here, fear there, fear everywhere. That's what they want you to see, because they're dying.
Yeah.
They're being eliminated. So of course they're going to fight back.
Great news. Well, I think I really asked a lot of questions, and I'm very, very thankful for all your patience and the information.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
You've given so many answers, and I really think that all the people watching that will be very happy and satisfied and thankful for everything that you've shared today. And is there anything that we've missed Is there anything you would like to add, or I don't know, your final message for the people, for the Bulgarian people?
Yeah, the final message is that the one thing they don't want you to know, that the elite or the powers that were do not want you to know, is that you are a divine, powerful, unlimited being, and that you can take that power back. They don't want you to know that.
Okay, so it's the end of the dark times. People, wake up, you are unlimited with divine force. Okay, Inelia, really thank you so much for that interview. It was such a joy for me and for the audience, I'm sure. And I assure you many people will be thankful for your help and precious information. I was asked by my audience to give you all the love and light. We're really thankful.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Okay.
And thank you for the invitation.
Oh, it was really joy for me. And okay, guys, so for more information and articles and tools and other useful information, people can find all of that on your website, which is Ascension101.com. Yes, and I understood that there is another website, which is Inelia.com, where there will be a more in-depth information and maybe more personal information about yourself.
Yes.
Okay, and what I can add from my side, you can find, I think it's more for the Bulgarian audience because my website is not translated into English, so you can find more articles and practices and information in many categories like light work, transformation, spiritual and personal development, body care, and detoxification. Very important, healing, etc. And my website is www.svoizbor.com. And well, that's it for now. Thank you very much, Inelia. It was really a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.